Good evening. Hello, my name is Catherine Carbo, and I'm the Director of Lower School Admission. I am so happy you've joined us tonight. We are grateful for all the time and effort you are putting into exploring who we are as a school for your child and your family. Today, we will be painting a picture of the lower school. And to help do this, we will be sharing some images, stories, and the layers of support we give to children and families as they navigate their lower school experience. With regard to the photos that you will see, some of the images were taken prior to March, so you will not see masks or physical distancing, but we feel it's also incredibly important to share what we are doing right now to keep our students safe, engaged, and learning together on campus. I always like to acknowledge that the admission process can be overwhelming and getting to know us takes time. We hope today provides you a helpful snapshot of us, and our goal is for you to find the right match for your child and your family. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I feel is special about St. Stephen St. Agnes and our lower school in particular, but I have to be very candid with you. This is my dream job. I love what I do. I get to see truly exceptional teaching. I get to be in such an uplifting environment. It's positive and engaging. I get to work with really wonderful parents who share the school's values. And I get to learn what's important in life. And for those who don't know, but I think you do know, it's who got a new puppy, who lost a tooth, and who made a new friend. Our lower school campus houses our Early Saints, which is our 3-year-old program through grade 5. The classrooms in campus are designed specifically for our youngest learners. We have 2 age-distinct playgrounds and an outdoor classroom where children can work together and play together. Our admission office, as I'm sure with all of our lives, had to adjust, and we've adjusted our process to ensure that we will keep all of our applicants safe. I look forward to meeting you all and learning about your hopes and dreams for your children. These are parent meetings that we're going to schedule throughout the fall, and Heather Sterick, who's joining me, my colleague, will be happy to schedule those for you. We're also featuring lower school information sessions, which featured our lower school director, Jolene Spain-Thomas, also here tonight, and virtual tours. And every Wednesday, I will be featuring new videos as I walk and navigate and narrate around the campus and into the classrooms. And my colleague Heather can schedule this for you as well. In the process, we will require the typical, the teacher recommendation and any grades or progress reports from this year. And in any other years, we would invite your children to campus. But this year, we'll be doing assessments virtually and more to come on that. We will also be hosting optional, not required Saturday in-person tours. Heather can help schedule this for you. I wanted to give you a quick overview of the process because I know that's on a lot of your minds. It can seem, again, overwhelming. I'm a mom of a 4-year-old. I am also in the process, so I promise to keep you all, we'll be with you every step of the way. One of my greatest joys of my professional life is my partnership with Ms. Spain-Thomas and the lower school administrative team of Jeremy Hark, Associate Director, and Susan De Laurentiis, our Director of Counseling and specifically lower school counselor. And as we continue to highlight the lower school, I'm delighted to have Jolene with me, and who will talk further in detail about how we support our students and guide them in their journey with us. It's now my pleasure to introduce Jolene as I go through a couple of more pictures. Ms. Spain-Thomas has a bachelor's in psychology and art history from Duke University. She has a master's from the Teachers College at Columbia. Jolene joined the Saints community 4 years ago after spending 16 years at Beauvoir, the National Cathedral Elementary School. Speaking from the I perspective, Jolene embodies everything that St. Stephen St. Agnes stands for. She's kind, thoughtful, and she has an amazing sense of humor. She's a gifted educator and always keeps our school focused on what is in the best interest of the child. Welcome, Jolene.
Catherine, I was giving you the connection sign, but not in camera view, so I'm going to have to come up and do it this way. It is a professional joy to work with you and Heather and our dynamic admissions team. So just before we get to the Q&A, a couple things to share with you. I am thrilled to say that we are safely and happily launched into our 2021 school year. What we want you to know about us. We're honored that you're getting to know us and that you're considering the Saints experience for your child. Saints are genuinely invested in each other. They offer encouragement and support. to each other, and they delight in forming authentic connections. And one of the benefits of your joining a lower school that is ensconced in a healthy, vibrant, early Saints to 12th grade community is the relationships that you would form. And those that your children would form, ones that we know would be a part of your life for decades to come. And we feel privileged to be a home for those relationships to form. Some things that we value: grace, patience, and partnership between parents and the school, between teachers and parents, and between our students. And we pray that these three things, grace, patience, and partnership, are present at every turn. And I'm pleased to share this evening that I see those at every turn at our lower school. And I would say that grace, patience, and partnership are being seen in abundant qualities in our unique school year. And it's a joy to see.
I will dive deeply into and ask Jolene, in your work as the lower school director, what are some of the systems of support your team provides to students and their families?
Our teachers. We hire teachers with advanced degrees in elementary education, early childhood education, and curriculum and instruction, and also specialty areas of instruction. We don't stop there, however. Our teachers must demonstrate in the interview process and beyond that they receive great joy, sincere and authentic joy in teaching young children and partnering with their parents. And our applicants must also demonstrate in the interview process that they have a strong commitment to supporting our students' growing lens and diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And so it's a privilege for me to work with our teachers. They're definitely a source of support. Other forms of support are the connections that our teachers make with families through a wave, in the carpool line, sure, but we go deeper than that. At the beginning of the year, we hold what we call Hopes and Dreams conferences, and it's one of those dynamic elements of our being a school that follows the responsive classroom approach. And so our parents want to partner with you. They want to meet with you early on in the school year and say, you're the expert on your child. Now we're going to grow in our expertise, but until then, tell us about your child. Tell us what your hope is for them for the school year. And over time, I'd say quickly, plus over time, our teachers are going to add their hopes and dreams for that child as they look at their growing edges and as they communicate with the parents in subsequent conferences. What areas they want the child to grow in, and they celebrate those accomplishments together. We are a proud Episcopal school, and in our current reality, we gather every Thursday from our various classrooms and office spaces or out on the field for a virtual chapel. And our dynamic religion teacher and our chaplain is Reverend Grace Pratt. She asks us to call her Reverend Grace, and I couldn't think of a better name for her. A couple of reasons that she offers us support. Well, she loves animals. And just last week, we had our chapel with a marvelous homily by Reverend Grace in honor of St. Francis, followed by a blessing of the animals and stuffed animals later that day. It was drive-through. Families drove up, and there were in back seats of cars, again, very cute stuffed animals, but also dogs and hedgehogs. It was a wonderful day. And on that same day, Reverend Grace offered support to our guests, the visiting eco goats that came back for the third year in a row to eat the invasive ivy that sort of grows on one of our hillsides. And so Reverend Grace blessed the goats, the eco goats, and our science teachers took the opportunity to integrate the goat life and why in the world would we want them to eat this invasive ivy. The science teachers integrated that into the science curriculum. Catherine mentioned her partnership with me, Associate Director Jeremy Hark, and Director of Counseling and Lower School Counselor Susan De Laurentiis. And Catherine's going to put up a slide that shows the commitment that Jeremy, Susan, and I have as parents.
It's so fun to see them outside, and before COVID, after COVID, just so many wonderful images. That's
the mud suits.
The mud suits alone. Oh, there's that outdoor classroom. Oh, I love those. Okay. There you are with your Bailey, your sweet pup. That must have been blessing the animals from last year, perhaps, or the year
Yes,
before.
yes, it was.
Here, is this the
Yes,
slide?
this
Is
is
this good?
it. So yes, we shared this with our families at back to school night in our first week of school, and you can read what's on the screen here. But yes, these are the commitments or the recommitments. We recommitted to these things as the lower school administrative team, and so I would say that each of these are important to us. This school year, among our top priorities, includes the ensuring of the health and safety and wellness of our students and faculty. And you'll see that red emergency backpack there. We are a school that loves having multiple buildings on our campus. If you have not yet come onto the campus, you will see that it feels like a small but appropriate little college campus with all of our buildings. And so because our students are spread out, when you visit, you might see the students walking around, and one student's going to have this red backpack. And you're thinking, what's going on there? It's one of the jobs of the students, because we say at St. Stephen St. Agnes, if there is a child with an EpiPen or some emergency medicine, because our grounds are vast, we want that medicine to be right there and available to our students. And it's just representative of one form of safety, health, and wellness. We have a full-time nurse, Nurse Kim Brown, who helps with everything from the smallest sniffle to, heaven forbid, a broken arm. And it's just a commitment that we have to have her in place full-time. And another commitment listed here that's really important to us, it's striving to be an inclusive community that combats bias and intolerance. So with teacher support and guidance, our students develop empathy, broaden their perspectives, they develop a lifelong passion for service, and they gain an understanding of why and how our Episcopal identity and school mission call us to support each other and see each other and get to know each other and combat racial injustices.
Thank you, Jolene. I'm going to pose one more question to you before we start to dive into the questions that were submitted prior to the webinar beginning. What sort of professional development have our faculty done that you find particularly exciting?
Well, this was, I'll share two. The first one that comes to mind is our school commitment to brain science and brain research. And so not just the lower school, but all three of our divisions read NeuroTeach. It's a book about brain science and the future of education. So it was about not only our teachers reading it, but our academic administrators reading it as well. And it helped us really slow down, especially as we were in the process of launching a new schedule, and say, what are the optimal times of day for us to teach performing arts and visual arts, math or language arts? It helped us optimally design the architecture of a lesson, thinking about really affirming the way that we deliver instruction. At the lower school, it's through many lessons. We're not going to have a teacher who considers himself or herself a sage on a stage, lecturing at children for an hour. No, there are small bursts of wisdom and instruction that come from our teachers. And then our students practice. They practice and they enter into this feedback loop with our teachers, who are conferring with them individually or in small groups and letting them know, okay, yesterday you showed me that you mastered this skill. You're not showing that today. So let's take a step back and take a deep breath. And I want you to show me. I want you to show me your work. I want you to read that section again, and tell me what you've read, and recite what you've learned. And it's more about just children reciting. No, our teachers, because we believe in brain science and they believe in that feedback loop, they take the time to not only get to have children give information back to them that they have learned, but our teachers are also inspiring our children to be creative and giving them the time and the space during the day to do that, to generate outgrowths of their learning. And so that brain research just makes me really excited, and we're nerds in that way, and we're proud of it. At the lower school, we also are a school that has adopted the reading and writing workshop out of Teachers College, my alma mater. And, one of the things that I believe sets us apart as a lower school is giving children the space from the very first days of their starting the school year to tell a story, and it's their story. For our early saints, it may be labeling a very intricate drawing that they've done that only they can point out what's in that drawing to start, but it's their story and the teachers listen to them. So by the time they get to fifth grade and they're writing realistic fiction, they own that story, they're proud of it. And so our teachers are consistently educating themselves in the reading and writing workshop approach and marrying that with brain science. And we see that those who benefit from our teachers' deep desire to continue researching and learning, it's our children. Right alongside our children, our parents are seeing them grow and learn and have that space to tell their story, not only at school, but at home as well.
Thank you so much. And we received a lot of wonderful questions about what does it feel like in this community? What is the involvement from the family? My husband asked the same question. He said, what am I going to need to do? And I said, what you want to do. Do you want to chaperone? Do you want to help out at a fall festival? Do you want to be a mystery reader? And because things look a little differently, we've shifted a touch, but I still feel so connected as a community member out at Carpool and seeing all of the families and the very tired little ones getting into their cars after a very busy and fun-filled day. But Jillian, when you came to us, we've now been here for you're entering, I guess it's your 4th year and my 13th year. It's the community that is one of my biggest joys of this work. Would you agree with that?
I'm giving you the connection sign again, my friend. Absolutely. You'll hear this from me again. So Saints parents, they partner with us. They reach out on topics big or small, and it could be about something that they feel would benefit their child. More often, I hear from parents about things that would benefit the entire grade of students, or a shift that we might make to the lower school that would support the wider community, even not just the lower school. And so I appreciate that. And so, top of mind in our lower school culture right now was Halloween. So we're having to rethink what that will look like at our school, and we're putting the final touches on plans for a virtual Halloween where parents will send in pictures of the children in costume, and then we'll watch it all together. But it doesn't stop there. We found out that our upper school drama department wanted to put on a socially distant trunk or treat at our upper school. And so that's going to be happening. And we heard from a couple of families to say, how can I help? How can I volunteer? The seniors, the juniors and seniors, they've got this one. They don't need help for this. But it was just, that's just the kind of community we have, that parents reach out and they want to be a part of things. So how could you be involved? I have to tell a story of what happened when I happened upon Miss Benjaloon's 2nd grade class the other day. So I was walking by and I heard some singing, and I thought, well, that is not children singing, that's adults, but that's not Miss Benjaloon. So I looked in. Oh, because we are not able at this moment to have the tradition of parents coming in as a mystery reader and surprising their child on their birthday. Mrs. Benjaloon had invited family members to send in a video singing happy birthday to their students. So our dear 2nd grade saint had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 grandparents together in a video singing happy birthday. And so this was about not only a moment of birthday pride for this child, but it was a moment of connection. Now, that was grandparents engaged in our community by singing. In other years, and we're going to get back to this, it's grandparents coming to surprise their child at the Crenshaw Arcade, right? A 4th grader has just designed an awesome piece of engineering. She has achieved an engineering feat that she's so proud of at the arcade. And then she looks at the end of a long line of folks waiting to play her game, and the surprise visitor is her grandmother. That's the kind of community we have. So yes, there are room parents. Yes, there are opportunities to engage and go on field trips, but there's so much more in the Saints community, and we're so proud of that.
And I really think at the core of so much of this work is families can be, it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to ask for guidance from all of the different areas of support that we have at place and in place. I have a couple of logistical questions, one being, what are the school hours? Because we have a staggered, beautiful drop-off and pick-up, if you're in the kind of beginning of the alphabet, you're going to drop off between 8 and 8:15. At the end of the alphabet, 8:15 to 8:30. The school day begins at 8:30. And then in the afternoon, pickup is between, in the early part of the alphabet, 3 to 3:15, and then the latter part from 3:15 to 3:30. And we are providing aftercare at this point in our phasing of phasing additional hours of students on campus. Our youngest learners have been with us since after Labor Day, which we've been so pleased to have our early Saints JK and K students here with us 5 days a week. I have a question about the timeline. Okay, so check this off your list. This was even an optional event, so give yourself a gold star. If you haven't done the virtual tour, definitely sign up with that. The info session, sign up for that. Sign up for our parent meeting, which can be in person. I'm happy to host you in my office, or we can do it through Zoom. And then everything comes together by mid-January. January 15th is the deadline for all of the materials. I will go to my admission committee over the next month and a half, and then we notify the first Friday in March of the decision. If you're applying for financial assistance, you would do that as a parallel process. That paperwork's due in the beginning of February, but you'd start to sort of chip away at it really late fall, early winter. Great question about curriculum. So that group information session dives even deeper into it. What I love, and what Jolene, I'm going to speak for you. We've always said that if we cannot differentiate instruction, we do not bring on the curriculum. So that means stretching children where they need it, challenging where they need it, supporting them as well. And your children go on these series of sprints of growth and development, and we want to have the curriculum in place to make sure that we're challenging them and helping them. Aptitude assessment. Okay, get ready to take your marker and check it. You do not need to do the aptitude assessment. That's the WIPSI or the WISC assessment that typically you would have scheduled with a licensed psychologist. All of the schools in Alexandria and the DC area have all decided to make it optional, which means if you've done it, fine, great, we'll see it. We'd love to see it. If you have not done it, you do not need to do it, and it's just not worth the risk of the mask wearing and the close contact. So get that off your checklist. You don't have to do that. Character building. Jolene, can you dive into this? Early Saints through 12, how do we kind of go from our character traits to the honor code?
That's right. You know, for us, it is about certainly having children develop strength of identity, you know, knowing who they are and being proud of who they are, joy in getting to know the others that make up your community. So we have lower school character traits of respect, responsibility, honesty, and compassion. And what I love, so this is our first year of Early Saints, and I'll be looking at our 3-year-olds for this sorts of language. But for many, many years, we hear our 4-year-olds in JK within a month of the school year saying things like, "What's a more respectful way we can do that, friends?" And we just love that from the language that the teachers have modeled. In the earliest of days, our young saints are adopting that language. And why? Because it matters to them to have a communicative and kind and compassionate community. And with our older saints, you know, as we dive even deeper into what forms your identity, what forms your neighbor's identity, and what are some injustices that have happened to people in our community and elsewhere because of the identity that they have. You know, our students leave us and go to the middle school with a deep, it goes beyond empathy. It's about respectful discourse and students being able to stand up for what they believe in, listen to what their neighbor's perspective is, be able to advocate for their neighbor's perspective, and also to be deep, respectful, and thoughtful listeners. And so you will probably hear me say this, but you know, if our students leave us and they can say that they are amazing athletes and that they are deep thinkers and that they are great researchers. That's fine. We also want them to be global citizens. We want them to be able to um, uh, uh, kindly and respectfully engage with the world that we're sending them to. So as upper school students, our students vow through the honor code to uphold all of the things that create an equitable and just academic community. And that's really important to us as an Episcopal school and for other reasons as well.
That's great. We just got a great question about our student-teacher ratio, and I think we are blessed to have small class sizes. It's really at the core of our work to ensure that for the children and the families. So I would say it's typically, if you calculated all the specials classes, it's kind of like 7-to-1, but a typical class ranges between 14 to 16. I have I'll start with, we have one early Saints class. We've got 2 junior kindergarten classes. Both have 11 students enrolled in them. I have 4 kindergarten classrooms, and those have 16 enrolled. And then 4 first grade, 4 second, 4 third, 4 fourth grade classes, and 4 fifth grade classes. And again, they all range between about 14 to 16. Wouldn't you say, Jolene? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, okay, I want to see so that was that question. If you have, it's at the time check, it's 7:44. I know I am so grateful for you all spending this time because, again, as a mom of a 4-year-old, it's bath, it's bed. Well, you hope it's bed because it's been a long week already, but there's a lot going on, and I know things are so busy. But if you do have, we could probably take 1 or 2 more questions if you wanted to type that into the Q&A or directly into the chat function. Oh, great question. Is there more than 1 teacher per class? Yes. So early Saints have 2 lead teachers. Our JK teachers, there's 2 per class lead teachers who are there the full day. And then Jolene I'm speaking for you, but kindergarten has 2 teachers, a lead and an assistant, but the assistant is a lead teacher in herself and will teach things like phonics and math, but departs after lunch. They've been staying pretty much all day, haven't they, this past?
They have been. They've been. We wanted to make that 2-teacher model available in any kindergarten class who needed it through the balance of the school day. And some of our kindergarten classes have an art class or a Spanish class. They all have them, but for some of those classes, the specials classes are situated in the afternoon, and so that assistant teacher does not stay all day. But we made that choice open to each of our kindergarten classes in our unusual year because we were having teachers support children with things like physical distancing and the wearing of masks and just having fun in our new reality, and that we wanted to make sure teacher guidance was there for them.
And for first grade, there is a lead teacher and a full-time assistant that rotates between 2 of the classrooms. So really 6 teachers in total for the first grade. So that's that question. What are the entry years? So we bring in students every grade level. I bring in we bring in 5th graders, we bring in JK students. Our typical entry would be kindergarten. That's when we probably bring the most students. But I always advise at least, getting to know us. I don't ever say wait. I think because sometimes 5th grade is the absolute perfect time for a family to join us. What are the specials? Music, art. Oh my heavens. Okay, so are you ready? We have music, art studio, science lab. All of these are taught by professionals in that field. So like music teacher is conservatory trained, art teachers an artist herself. So music, art, science, religion, library, Spanish, PE. Am I there, Jolene? I got there.
Educational technology.
Educational technology, so robotics, coding, all those amazing things. And we had a question about scholarships. So our school uses a need-based financial assistance program. So happy to talk to you more about that. If you want to go ahead and email Heather, we can talk about that. Do all students study language? Yes. Spanish up into the end of grade 3, and then they can switch to French or continue with Spanish. We add Latin in the middle school and Mandarin, and then also in the upper school we have those 4 offerings. Let's see. Oh, thank you for saying thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I think we answered that about foreign language. Question about speech and occupational therapy at school. Let's talk about that. If you could email me or Heather Sterick about that. I think we got all of them.
There was
recap what's the academic calendar for 2021, and whether you're anticipating full enrollment. So we are very we're in a very healthy state, thank goodness, and wonderful families and children who've re-enrolled and new families who've joined us. How else would you answer that, Jolene?
Ditto. No. We feel, in terms of our enrollment, we feel very blessed to have, like Catherine said, a small class size, but also the ability for the classes are small enough so that teachers don't skip a beat in getting to know the children and their families, and also they're big enough so that children can have academic peers and social peers. So when teachers are separating children into groups, so we really appreciate that. And I see there's a question about the normal daily schedule. Would you like me to take that one, Catherine?
Yes, please.
So after that staggered morning arrival, you can think of our school day this year as being blocked into 60-minute blocks. And that time may be with the homeroom teacher who's delivering curricula in language arts, reading and writing, and also math, and also social studies. And then, so a child may end morning meeting, which happens every day in every classroom, 8:30 to 9, as part of our responsive classroom approach. They may go into 1 or 2 blocks. So it could be 9 to 11 a.m. with their homeroom teacher. Okay. And then it could be that if you're a second grade class, every Tuesday and Thursday, your first special starts at 11. It could be performing arts, it could be PE, and then lunch would be 12 to 1. And usually there's at least one more specials class in the afternoon, and also time with the teachers. A couple things that I believe make us stand out. Our teachers believe strongly in something that we called Quiet Quest. We began that last year. It's teachers and students pausing. It's time to turn off the devices. It's time to, the teachers playing music. The children may do yoga. They may be reading quietly. They may be reflecting on a math lesson that they had before. They may be completing some quiet work. Could be 10 minutes. It could be 9 minutes. But we take time throughout the day to reset, to pause and then reset. And that's part of the brain research, the brain science that helped us form the architecture of the day. And so our students having begun the day with morning meeting, always end the day with closing circle, again, as a part of our responsive classroom approach. And why do we do that? It's a little different from Quiet Quest. Children are talking. There's a robust conversation about the day. What made this day productive? What made this day special? What are we looking forward to tomorrow? And what, as a community, are we going to do to grow in our community? Those are some of the questions that our teachers are asking here at the end of the day and the start of the school year.
We're at our last question. What are religion classes like for older elementary?
Yeah.
And I guess, Jolene, could you talk a little bit about Godly Play and how that evolves into 5th grade?
Absolutely. So up through 4th grade, our students are benefiting from a robust, dynamic program of Godly Play from Reverend Grace. And so if you are not yet familiar with Godly Play, I really do, we'll make sure that throughout our process you have images from our school and how Godly Play is implemented, but you should Google it. This is an adult in this this case, our priest, Reverend Grace, presenting stories and parables from the Bible in the most unique way. So imagine in the classroom, I walked into one of our first grade classes with Reverend Grace, and she has a tiny but intricately made Noah's Ark. And so the stories are prescribed in the best way. She's taking out one tiny artifact and sharing with the students, the first part of the parable. And then she's moving on to the next. And the children are transfixed as they're thinking, oh my goodness, she's laid out this beautiful green mat. She's taking one element out at a time. And what does that look like? To remind you, as an Episcopal school, we welcome families of all faiths. And so we have children who are would have seen some of these things in Sunday school at their own church, or others who are becoming familiar with the Christian and Episcopal faith. And so universal concepts of love and kindness and joy and warmth and connection and caring are a part of that. In fifth grade, our students really do biblical studies. And so they're looking at the Old Testament and they're looking at the New Testament, and they're drawing connections with our lower school character traits, that respect, responsibility, honesty, and compassion. They are writing, it's like the precursor to ethics that you might have at middle school or upper school. And they are not only writing prayers for the community, but they are listening to each other's prayers. And it is most powerful. And we feel that for our fifth graders, it doesn't just stop with the religion class. Certainly outside of what they are doing with their study of the Old Testament and New Testament is a study of world religions. That's really important. And so, when we say it doesn't stop there, when we are in person for chapel, our fifth graders take a beautiful leadership role. And so it could be that they are the acolyte for the day, or they're the featured pianist for the day, or they are the banner bearer or the cross bearer. And so our students really look forward to getting to fifth grade and having that special role. And our chaplains always make sure that it's more than just, oh, I need someone to participate. This is an honor and it's your turn. And we're so pleased that you said yes.
I remember bringing a couple of families who were in the process to a chapel service, and the mom turned around to me and she said, "Is this what it's always like?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Everyone is so invested because it's their friends up there. It's their classmate who's doing this amazing, brave reading in front of 400
so proud
people."
of them. Yes.
So exciting. So I love that. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time. And I'm so, again, grateful that you've joined us in this on this wonderful evening. I think one of the key pieces of St. Stephen St. Agnes is the mission. You will hear us say this many, many times, that we are led by our mission. We live it every day. And one of the lines that speaks to me, and I think to many of the families going through who are here with us, is the line that says we pursue goodness as well as knowledge. And I hope you will see evidence of that. We certainly do each and every day. But I look forward to you being on this journey with us in the admission process, and look forward to future adventures. And please do not be shy. Never hesitate to reach out with questions or concerns. We're all here to help. My admission team is here. And of course, I can always reach out to Jolene for additional answers.
One, speaking of answers, there's one final question. How often is the chapel service? Every Thursday morning, 8:35 a.m. Families are invited to join virtually this year by logging into a live webinar link. They can see their child participate. And when we are in person, when we're going to be in person, again, parents are welcome into our Daniel Gym every week where the service is held.
I love the birthday prayer. I love when it's a child's birthday and they get to stand up and we all acknowledge that they had their special day. And they always seem so surprised when a teacher has a birthday too. They're like, "Oh, he had a birthday today?" So it was very funny.
So true.
Yes. And the prayers for the hamsters as well. And class pets. Those are the two of my top favorites. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Fain Thomas. Thank you, Heather. And again, thank you all. Any final words, Jolene, before we say goodnight?
Well, I can't wait to get to know you right alongside Catherine and Heather. It will be my pleasure.
All right. Take care, be safe, and stay well, and we'll see you soon. Bye.